Ohio's governor, Mike DeWine, attempted to do something about the fact that there are primaries taking place tomorrow, including in the state of Ohio, and people are being told to stay home due to the coronavirus. And so DeWine had recommended voting in Ohio's primary be extended to June 2nd, and now he can't do that unilaterally. He needs the courts to chime in on it. And unfortunately, the courts have decided no, he can't do this. So a Franklin County Court of Common Pleas judge has declined the order, and the judge has said, Judge Richard Fry, said he was reluctant as a common pleas judge in Franklin County to override the election date set by the Ohio legislature. He pointed to the fact that the coronavirus has been an issue of concern since January, and absentee voting has been an option for the last month. But a lot of people don't do absentee voting. A lot of people wait till election day to show up and do the voting. And so I can't believe I'm saying this because I usually disagree with him on everything. The governor's right here. Governor DeWine is saying, look, we're worried about the poll workers. We're worried about people gathering when they're not supposed to be gathering in any one place because that could further spread COVID-19. DeWine had said under his plan, absentee voting will continue to be available and will continue until June 2nd. But unfortunately, the judge has weighed in on this and said, no, we're not gonna be doing this.
I'd like to, I don't know. Sometimes you try to figure people's motivations behind things. This particular judge, there was speculation, of course, that people were saying that Trump's gonna take this as a opportunity to say, hey, let's just suspend all elections, I'll stay on. So I don't know if there's fears of it then leading to people wrongfully saying, hey, let's stop all elections, and he wants to continue things going. But I don't think the governor here was trying to, hey, come out on election day tomorrow and do it anyway. There's an extension period he's looking for, some kind of a remedy that'll also look out for people and also give many of us in this country in particular a chance to do something else about this, or more time to develop a way to remedy the situation. So again, I don't know this judge, I don't know anything of the background to the person, or if they're just looking for a way to make sure this isn't turned into a slippery slope, you know?
I don't know, all I do know is the fact that we're holding primary elections tomorrow is incredibly irresponsible. There are people who aren't gonna go out to vote, clearly, because they're afraid of being exposed to the virus. So that's bad news.
Or people will, and then it spreads.
I'm just thinking about all the poll volunteers. Like I have most volunteers that are poll workers that I have ever seen are nice little old ladies, you know, who are just sitting there being like, hey, this is my, you know, it's at a library or a, like not a post office, but like there's a bunch of like a high school gym that are like, hey, and they're all really excited and into it and helping out, but like they are typically, from my experience, I know this is anecdotal, we're just seeing the story now, but like advanced in age, and they're going to be sitting there handling things from thousands of people. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is we cover time and time again how difficult it is to vote in America anyway, especially on the day when you're supposed to be voting, the Tuesday, which is still, you know, this primary is on a Tuesday, it's midweek, and we see in places that typically skew Democrat, there are lines around the corner. Now, if people are going to be, you know, practicing social distancing, it is lines around the block and down the block and around the other corner and up that other street. I can't believe that this is something, I get it. And so I guess we have to look at like the silver lining of it, which is he did say that absentee voting will be doable until June 2nd. The question then becomes, will they be factoring in as votes come in, whether the turnout is as high as it typically is? Can we assume then that people who decided not to come out that day will be taking up the absentee option? Because probably not. What we've learned about voting time and time again is the more difficult you make it in any potential tiny little way, people get discouraged, they move on, they do something else, especially when there will be a lot of media coverage on that day. And that in and of itself will depress the voter turnout for people who do decide to take absentee ballots up. And because the voting will still be happening, will we be able to count any of those votes?
Right.
That is something that typically does happen, because you've heard this time and time again on the days of election coverage. This is just a primary. Not all the votes have come in, but we've called it for so and so. But usually that's when the absentee voting ends. If it's still open voting, will we even be able to count Ohio? And then you look at the kind of people who would be affected by this kind of thing, and it is more elderly voters.
Yep.
Elderly voters who do have the higher proportion of voter turnout. Then that's bad for Biden. How is the Democratic National Committee standing for this?
Right, it is kind of interesting that like the DNC hasn't like freaked out over this.
I think
at least as far as I've seen.
I think the reasons are like, let's get it going. Let's finish it up.
Let's get it over with.
Get it over with. I don't care. I don't care. Now, what are you doing? You're getting people sick.
You're right.
You're making people sick who will ostensibly, potentially not be alive to vote for your candidate in the general election. And I hate to be that fatalistic about it, but that's something that you do have to factor in.
Yeah, I wonder if the response from the DNC would be different if the front runner weren't Biden right now. I don't know. All I do know is, we shouldn't be surprised at the outcome of this. Think about all of the voter suppression that's been taking place so far and how no one's really done anything about it. No one seems to really care. It barely gets any coverage in the mainstream press. I mean, we keep lying to ourselves about how we live in this so-called democracy. How is it a democracy if all these actions are being taken that suppress the vote on a regular basis? And then in the middle of a pandemic, we decide that we're gonna just continue on with this election, business as usual.
What a crazy
As people are being told, don't leave your house. People in their 60s are told, shelter in place, shelter at home, do not leave your home.
I'm thinking about the churches who say, hey, everybody, let's get in the bus and go down to vote.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody get in the bus?
This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, last really quick thing on this is, if you want people to take you seriously for saying, hey, don't go out, which we're taking seriously tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day. I'm glad the bars aren't gonna be open at 4 a.m.
They will be at my house.
And so then if you tell people not to go out because there's a fear and a danger and a certain percentage of the population doesn't believe you just because they decided not to, and then you say, hey, go out and vote, that's a bit of a conflict of logic there.
Right.
Hey, stay in because it's really dangerous. Oh, but come out and vote though, in large groups and wait in line for hours. Just doesn't match up.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.